The United States, in the mid-19th century, was a nation of stark contrasts. The North, with its bustling factories and burgeoning industries, stood in stark opposition to the agrarian South, where cotton was king, and enslaved Africans formed the backbone of the economy. This fundamental difference, the institution of slavery, lay at the heart of the nation's growing divide. Each passing year witnessed the chasm widen, fueled by fiery rhetoric, political maneuvering, and a growing sense of sectionalism. The issue of slavery's expansion into new territories further inflamed tensions, leading to compromises that ultimately proved untenable. Abolitionists in the North condemned the inhumanity of slavery, demanding its immediate abolition. In the South, however, any talk of limiting or abolishing slavery was met with fierce resistance. Southern leaders argued that slavery was an integral part of their way of life, protected by the Constitution, and essential to their economic prosperity. The Dred Scott Supreme Court decision of 1857 proved to be a pivotal moment, pushing the nation closer to the brink. The stage was set for a confrontation that would decide the fate of the nation. The election of 1860 proved to be the breaking point. The Republican Party, formed in 1854 on a platform opposing the expansion of slavery, nominated Abraham Lincoln, a little-known lawyer from Illinois with a reputation for honesty and unwavering moral conviction. Lincoln's election, though a victory for the anti-slavery movement, was viewed as a threat by many in the South. In the wake of Lincoln's victory, a wave of secession swept through the South. South Carolina led the way, followed by Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas. These 7 states formed the Confederate States of America, electing Jefferson Davis as their president. On April 12, 1861, Confederate forces under the command of General P.G.T. Beauregard opened fire on Fort Sumter, a federal garrison located in Charleston Harbor, South Carolina. This attack, which marked the beginning of the Civil War, sent shockwaves throughout the nation. The Civil War, a conflict born of slavery, states' rights, and the very meaning of freedom, had begun. The early years of the Civil War were marked by a series of bloody engagements that revealed the brutal realities of modern warfare. Both sides, initially confident in a swift victory, soon realized the magnitude of the conflict that lay ahead. The North, with its superior industrial capacity and larger population, held a distinct advantage on paper. The South, however, boasted a fiercely independent spirit, a strong military tradition, and a vast territory that would prove difficult to conquer. The First Battle of Bull Run, fought on July 21, 1861, near Manassas, Virginia, shattered the North's illusions of a quick and decisive victory. Confederate forces, led by the audacious General Thomas Stonewall Jackson, routed the Union Army, sending shockwaves through the North and bolstering Confederate morale. In the Western theater, the war raged along the crucial waterways of the Mississippi River. Union forces, under the command of Ulysses S. Grant, a determined and resourceful general, achieved early successes, capturing Fort Henry and Fort Donelson in Tennessee. The Battle of Shiloh, fought in southwestern Tennessee in April 1862, proved to be one of the bloodiest engagements of the war. As the war dragged on, the tide began to turn in favor of the Union. In the West, Grant continued his relentless pressure on Confederate forces, culminating in the siege of Vicksburg, Mississippi. After a 6-week siege, Vicksburg surrendered to Grant on July 4, 1863, a turning point in the war. This Union victory effectively gave control of the Mississippi River to the north, splitting the Confederacy in two and dealing a severe blow to Southern morale. In the East, the war reached a pivotal juncture at the Battle of Gettysburg, fought from July 1 to 3, 1863, in a small town in southern Pennsylvania. The 3-day battle, marked by fierce fighting and heavy casualties on both sides, culminated in Pickett's Charge, a desperate and ultimately futile Confederate assault on the Union center. Gettysburg, the bloodiest battle ever fought on American soil, marked the high water mark of the Confederacy. Section 5. Lincoln's Vision, the Emancipation Proclamation, and the Meaning of Freedom. As the war raged on, Abraham Lincoln, deeply troubled by the carnage and determined to strike at the heart of the Confederacy, issued the Emancipation Proclamation. This landmark document, which went into effect on January 1, 1863, declared that all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were to be thenceforward, and forever free. The Emancipation Proclamation, while not immediately freeing all slaves in the United States, was a watershed moment in American history. It transformed the war from a conflict to preserve the Union into a struggle for human freedom. Thousands of African Americans, inspired by the promise of freedom, flocked to join the Union Army, forming all-black regiments that fought with distinction. Lincoln, a man of deep moral conviction, viewed the Emancipation Proclamation as a testament to the founding principles of the nation. In his Gettysburg Address delivered on November 19, 1863, at the dedication of a national cemetery at the site of the battle, Lincoln eloquently articulated the war's higher purpose. Lincoln's words, imbued with a profound sense of purpose and a vision of a nation reborn, resonated deeply with the American people, offering hope and inspiration amidst the darkness of war. Section 6. Leaders and Legends. Grant, Lee, and the Faces of War. The American Civil War produced a cast of extraordinary leaders, men whose names would forever be etched in the annals of history. Two figures, however, stand out for their military prowess, their contrasting personalities, and their enduring legacies: Ulysses S. Grant, the Union's determined general-in-chief, and Robert E. Lee, the Confederacy's brilliant and revered commander. Grant, a West Point graduate who had served with distinction in the Mexican-American War, was a man of few words but boundless determination. His tenacity and willingness to sustain heavy losses in pursuit of victory earned him the nickname Unconditional Surrender Grant. Lee, a Virginia aristocrat and the son of a Revolutionary War hero, was widely regarded as one of the most gifted military minds of his generation. Lee's daring tactics and ability to inspire his troops made him a formidable opponent. However, Lee's strategic gamble at Gettysburg would prove costly, ultimately leading to the Confederacy's defeat. Section 7. A Nation Forged in Blood, the War's End, and its Immediate Aftermath. By 1865, the Confederacy, battered and exhausted, teetered on the brink of collapse. Grant's relentless pressure in Virginia and Sherman's devastating march through the South had taken a heavy toll. On April 9, 1865, at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, Lee surrendered his Army of Northern Virginia to Grant, effectively ending the Civil War. The surrender, a somber affair marked by mutual respect between the two commanding generals, signaled the beginning of a new chapter in American history. The war's end brought immense relief but also profound challenges. The nation, scarred by years of bloodshed and division, faced the daunting task of reunification and reconciliation. Section 8. Legacies of War. Reconstruction and its unfinished business. The American Civil War, despite its conclusion in 1865, continued to cast a long shadow over the nation. Reconstruction, while failing to fully achieve its goals of racial equality and national reconciliation, did lay the groundwork for future progress. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution, passed during Reconstruction, abolished slavery, guaranteed equal protection under the law, and granted voting rights to all men, regardless of race. The war's legacies, however, extended far beyond the realm of politics and law. The Civil War, despite its devastating toll, had ultimately preserved the Union and reaffirmed the principles of freedom and equality upon which the nation was founded. Section 9. Echoes of the Civil War. The conflict's enduring relevance. The American Civil War, though a 19th-century conflict, continues to resonate deeply in the 21st century. Its echoes can be felt in contemporary debates over race, equality, and the legacy of slavery. The war's enduring relevance lies in its stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the ever-present threat of division and extremism. It serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of intolerance, the corrosive effects of hate, and the importance of preserving the principles of liberty and equality for all. As we grapple with the challenges of our own time, we would do well to remember the lessons of the Civil War, to learn from its mistakes, and to draw inspiration from its triumphs.